I am the oldest of my mother's 5 children and the youngest of my father's 6 children. So, as being in this dynamic, I was always chosen for leadership positions to take care of my siblings, to be the one that speaks up for others, to make sure that everything was in place. But at an early age, I was an adult, working as an adult, being an adult for my younger siblings. My mother suffered from drug abuse, schizophrenia, and alcoholism. So, also at that young age, we were all placed in foster care. If you know anything about the foster care system, young Black girls who are placed there are deemed and stereotyped to not become anything. And when I say nothing, meaning uneducated, teen pregnancy, and just not successful. And so I didn't want that for my life. And what happened was, I didn't know I was always greatness. I had to have that instilled in me. And there was a woman that I met, Miss Washington. She was my mentor. But at the time, she didn't know how much I needed her. I was 15, losing direction, not knowing where I wanted to go in life, wanted to leave the foster care system, felt unworthy, unloved, neglected, and abandoned. And she said, "You have it." And I'm looking like, what is it? She said, "You have that it factor." And from that point, she changed my life. She taught me how to turn a negative situation into a positive outcome. She taught me how to look at my perspective of the world differently and not to be a victim, but to be a victor. And so at that point, that's when I discovered my greatness and took everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the things I was ashamed of, the things I didn't want people to know, the stereotypes that were placed on me. I took everything and I made the best out of it, what I could. And that's how I've been going through life. And that's how Fostering Greatness was developed. Fostering Greatness is me. I am fostering greatness, and I am on a mission to assist others to know that they have greatness within them too. I was a young Black girl without any direction, without anyone to call in my time of need. And I remember thinking, if my own mother and father abandoned and neglected me, what chance did I have in this world? Those feelings of hurt, confusion, unworthiness, and just downright disappointment. I didn't know which way to turn in life. But again, I think about the importance of my mentors and people who saw something in me that I did not see in myself at that time. I went through a lot of hardships. One of the hardships that I went through was really developing relationships with people because I did not trust people. Again, based on the relationships that I had with my parents, I just felt like if the people who brought me into this world did not do the job they were supposed to do, and then what chance did I have with other people who were not obligated to do anything for me? And then again, Miss Washington, my mentor, who assisted me through life. When I made mistakes, she said, "Okay, do you have it out of your system right now, or do we have to go through this a couple more times?" And I said, I don't know yet. I don't know. And she said, "It's okay. And whatever you choose to do, I'm going to walk beside you." And nobody had ever said that to me before. I had always been judged. I had always been told, "Oh, you're too grown. You're too fast. You're going to be just like your mother." Not the good part of my mother, but the part of my mother that had a deficit, the part of my mother that didn't make it, the part of my mother where she was hopeless and helpless. But again, Miss Washington said, let's think about the good things about your mother, about how she was educated and beautiful and intelligent, and how she established education for you. And I thought about those things. And I said, there's always something good, and there's always something not so good. And I'm going to focus on the in-between. I'm going to take all of the goodness that my mother had that she wasn't able to utilize, and I'm going to make it shine through me. And one of the things that my mother said to me was, "Leah, you're going to break the generational curse in our family." A lot of times people look on the outside and say, this family is dysfunctional, not knowing that the different things that they're engulfed in and engraved in, they've been doing generationally, and it's normalized to them. So again, I broke that generational curse. I was not lost to the streets. I did not do drugs, and I moved forward. And even the failures, the heartbreaks, the sleepless nights, the times crying, the times when I didn't know up from down, I still made it, not by myself, but it was the village that was chosen for me. So I'm very grateful for that. I am 41 years young, and reflecting back over my life, I'm thinking about some of the good things and some of the not so good things, but also the lessons and the blessings that have been in my life during my time of hardship, during my time of come up, and during my time of just, developing as a woman. And one of the things that I mostly think about is that there's no right or wrong way to live your life. Live your life to the fullest. Young people say YOLO, you only live once, and that's the truth. A lot of times I would tell my cousins and them different things of what I aspired to be and what I wanted to do. And they would say, Leah, that's just, that's too much. That's not going to happen for you. And my mindset at the time was, I'm going to show them. And then it changed to, no, this is what I really want to do. And I'm going to show myself. So one of the things I want you to take away from this is to do what you feel best. Trust your gut. At a young age, I was taught not to trust myself and not to trust the adults that were around me due to my circumstances. But again, learning how to trust yourself and love yourself. Love every part of you, every part. The part that people teach you to be ashamed about, the part that you don't feel so good about, because all of that makes up who you are. Because without those experiences, you wouldn't be able to do the life work that you do. I wouldn't be able to do the life work that I do. If I was just here on earth and an expansion was showed to me about what I had to go through in life to get to where I am today, I would have never chosen the path. But I know that it was necessary for me to do it. And it's still necessary. Life isn't just all peaches and cream right now. I'm still going through things. I'm still looking at life from a different perspective. But the difference is I know about seasons. Seasons come and seasons go. So if I have a season of hardship, I know that a season of harvest is coming next. So if one thing you can take from this, just don't get stuck in your seasons and do your best and be your best, whatever that may be. It could be just waking up in the morning and making your bed. It could be going for a doctoral program or a master's program. It could be just mending relationships with people. Because at the end of the day, what you do matters. And my relationship with my mother, I know I spoke about that earlier, but that was detrimental. I didn't want to just focus on the fact that my mom had utilized drugs during her life where she lost her kids to the foster care system. I wanted to focus on what made her that way, showing her love in any way that I could, because 2 years ago I lost my mom. And I can't go back and say, oh, I'm just going to focus on those things, because at the end of the day, those things don't matter. What matters is the love that we had for each other. And she did the best she could with what she had. And I understand that now as an adult. As a child, I didn't. But as an adult, I do understand that. And so, again, just focus on the better of things. Focus on you, trust yourself, love yourself, and move forward, because life is short. Wow, if I could go back and give any type of advice to the 21-year-old Leah Angel, I would say take advantage, girl, of everything that God has set forth in your path. I was afraid at 21. I had a poverty mindset, and I didn't understand my strength. I didn't understand what I had in my hands. I had gold in my hands. I didn't understand my intelligence and the power of my leadership at that age. And I had the world in my hands. So I would tell my 21-year-old self, girl, you got this. Go for it. The world is yours. Do not be scared. To whom much is given, much is required, and God got you. I would tell myself that, because nobody told me that. Nobody encouraged me to be all that I could be at that time. I would also tell myself that it is okay to make mistakes. It is part of life, the human condition. It is okay. People ridiculed me when I made mistakes. And I would say to myself, like, Leah, like, you've done very well to not really have any guidance. So again, it is okay to make mistakes. It's about how you recover and not staying down. You always get up, don't stay down. And the other piece of advice I would give my 21-year-old self is, it is okay to just be. Be who you are. Be where you stand. Being. I didn't know how to just be. I was very uncomfortable because growing up in the foster care system, it made me ashamed of who I was, where I came from. It made me not want to think big. It made me feel like I was a statistic and that I didn't have anybody on my side. And so when those opportunities presented itself for me to show up authentically, sometimes I didn't even know how, because I made myself small and didn't show up as the shiner and as the personality and as the person with confidence like I knew I could be and I should be. So again, stand in your truth. Be who you are. And I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy. But remember, other people have gone through it, and other people have had worse situations than what you and I have gone through, and they made it. So if they made it, you and I can make it. At the age of 23 years old, I gained custody of my two younger brothers, one of which who was legally blind. He had been adopted twice and given back to the system twice. He had been burned by hot water when he was 1 year old. His father was killed in 2005 in a quadruple homicide. And he had went into a psychiatric center, and there he was molested. So here I am, a naive 23-year-old woman, ready to conquer the world, ready to take my brothers in, and especially my one brother, because he had been through so much trauma. Growing up in the foster care system myself, I wanted to leave that part of my life where it was, where I aged out at 21. I wanted to leave it there. I didn't want to discuss that part of my life. I didn't want to just do anything with it because it was so embarrassing. And it was a part of my life I wanted to forget. But when gaining custody of my brothers and my one brother who had suffered so much, I felt like if I just gave him love and stability, that he would be okay. Fast forward years later, my brother, everything I could do for him, he rejected. I remember speaking to him a couple of months ago, and now he's a grown man. He said, Leah, you did everything you could do for me, but I just wanted my mom and dad. Here I am, a founder and an executive director of a nonprofit organization that assists foster care youth like me and my siblings. And I am making change, impacting lives, but I couldn't save my brother. June 19, 2023, I received a phone call at 4:43 in the morning from a hospital stating that my brother was deceased. The emotion that I felt at that time was failure, anger, confusion, and just like the system had failed him, the system had failed me. Because of all the help that I tried to get him, nothing worked. And I felt like we got to him too late. The trauma pushed him to use drugs. The trauma pushed him to just be somebody that he didn't want to be. Our mother passed away 2 years and 5 days to the date that my brother passed. And it took a toll on me. Trauma, grief, all of these different things. Again, I wanted to save my brother. And that's why I do the work that I do today. He's the reason that I am who I am in the foster care realm. Fostering Greatness, Inc. started in 2018 to assist young people, especially those of color, who are forgotten, overlooked, and underserved once they leave the foster care system. A lot of times, a slogan that's used, once we're grown, we're on our own. But again, just like I have said about myself, we don't have the foundational toolkit that's needed in order to be the people that we're supposed to be. And so Fostering Greatness, Inc. is changing the narrative. We're assisting young people who are leaving a system that they're ashamed of, a system that has contributed to their hardships. We're assisting those who can't go back to their families or who do not want to go back to the dynamics of their families. And we're assisting those who are just in need. So we're focusing on housing, which is one of the hugest issues in foster care. We're focusing on mental health awareness, and we're focusing on personal professional development in educational endeavors and workforce development too. So that's the purpose of Fostering Greatness. If you look or research about the foster care system, there's a disproportionate rate of African American youth who leave that system. Most of them leave damaged. And when I say damaged, they leave with another form of trauma that they feel that they can't move on from. So again, we want to change that narrative. Fostering Greatness, Inc. I am a business strategist extraordinaire, meaning that I am the Olivia Pope of what I am doing. A lot of people come to me to help assist them with their problems within an organization. So if the organization is faltering, they need a strategic plan. They need to hire people. That is what they call me for. Also, programmatically, I work on different programs, help people build different things, and help them as I am a visionary and really looking and seeking to find what is the narrative, the story behind the organization, and what do they want their community to know. Also, I assist others with pushing through to their dream and their purpose. Fostering Greatness, Inc. I did not want to do that. I had a vision. I wrote down everything that came to me. And when it was time for me to move forward with it, I went forward, but kicking and screaming. But when I went forward with it, every door and window opened up for me. And so that is just an example of when you just surrender to what your purpose is. It may not feel good, it may not look good in the beginning, but a lot of times our purpose is not about what we want to do, but it's about those who we need to assist to get to the other side. So what I do is I am a transformational leader. Not only do I lead, I walk beside people to help them, to assist them through to where they need to get to. I am also an author. I write books and I help people write books. And I am also a speaker. I speak about issues on trauma, confidence, narrative storytelling, and also about how to do your best and be your best. I also write curriculum, build curriculum, and serve as a trainer throughout the United States to train about trauma, to train about youth and independent living, and to train about leadership on all aspects. So that's part of who I am. I love doing what I do. I love meeting new people. I love networking, and I love really assisting those we're getting for them to get to where they need to go. What I have enjoyed most about the making of an entrepreneur is that this is a platform for us, by us. I feel good. I feel like I'm in my space. The opportunity to just be around like-minded individuals and to learn about what others are doing and how they're impacting the world and to be a part of that movement. Listen, this is a phenomenal opportunity. And I'm grateful that I have my spot in this space to be able to do what I do and move forward.